This is super exciting. After about 3 days of really calm weather, no wind or anything, we have finally woken up this morning to a lovely blanket of mist and fog around the landscape. So this morning I've come to a small loch on the outskirts of a local town, and I'm really hoping and praying that there's some mist and fog above the loch itself and also the loch surrounded by woodlands. So I'm really excited for this morning in the hope of getting some really nice optimum conditions for woodland and loch side photography and seeing what we can discover as autumn comes to an end and there's still a few pockets of colour in the forest. So for those of you who are a regular on my channel, you will recognise this scene because it featured in a video that I filmed, or that I showed, should I say, a few weeks ago. And what it is this lovely old wooden fence at the side of a field with these beautiful trees overhanging it that right now are absolutely optimum autumn colours. They're so beautiful. And in that video I came here about a month ago, and I remember saying to you that the composition and the image just didn't work because the trees were still very green, it was during the day, there was no atmosphere in the photograph. But this morning we have got everything that I could hope for. We've got mist in the field itself, as I say, we've got the optimum colours of the autumn leaves, and the scene before me right now is just stunning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait it out until the sun has risen. I have taken a few shots just in case that mist disperses, but what I'm hoping is when the sun rises that we're going to get a really nice orange light on the landscape and some nice colour to illuminate it, and this photograph, fingers crossed, is going to pop. It's such a stunning scene, and this just shows to you the importance of getting out during the day when you have free time to scout out locations and to plan future shoots. Wow, I'm so happy about this. This is so beautiful. We've now got a complete bank of mist here. We've got a really nice tree there, and we've got some lovely pinks in the sky, pinky purple colours just before the sun rises. It's a really beautiful scene. Compositionally it's not working 100% as I'd like it to, but what a stunning morning and what a stunning scene. And I think I always like to advocate that, you know, even if you don't get the images that you maybe hoped for or prayed for, just being out in conditions like this is 100% worth it. I'm reasonably happy with the images I've taken so far. Like I said before, I'm just hoping that when the sun does pop from behind the clouds that we'll get some really nice light on the landscape that will really bring these images to life. So that's what I'm hoping for now. And we've got some more nice clouds coming in here, so take another shot of the trees and this lovely fence line and see if this image is any more appealing than the one I took 10 minutes ago. I love this patch of cloud here that's just sort of rolled in with these wispy bits coming off of it. It just really kind of complements this lovely silhouetted tree line, and then you've got these beautiful kind of coloured patches in the sky, with also the mist rolling in over the field itself. It's just a stunning scene. So I'm a little bit in two minds about what to do now. I mean, as you all know, I'm a lot more comfortable photographing at the coast. I find shooting at the coast so much, it's just so much more me, obviously. Like, I just love the sea, but the thing I also like is that I find it a lot easier to predict what the weather conditions are going to do, because often you've got a very clear horizon and you can see where the sun is rising or setting, and you know what the clouds are doing and moving over the vast expanses. But when you're shooting somewhere like this, you know, in a sort of woodland fieldy area, you know, because you've got trees and that on the horizon, it can be a lot more difficult to predict what the weather is going to do. And obviously when you're shooting things like mist and fog, it's constantly changing and coming and going in your image. And I'm kind of debating what to do now, because I really like this shot. I love this image. It's obviously something that I was picturing, you know, a number of weeks ago that I mentioned in that sort of last video. But there's also something missing about this photograph, and what's missing is there's nothing in the right hand side of the scene to balance it. So you've got these lovely trees, you know, these lovely colourful trees overhanging the fence line, but then you've got this sort of vast open field, and you know, there's nothing to balance the image. Like, what I would love right now is for there to be some sheep or something in this field that I could then somehow position on the right hand side of the frame to give it some balance, so there's interest on both sides of the image. So because I'm finding this image quite unbalanced, even though it's a shot that I envisaged weeks ago and I still really like it, I'm wondering whether it's probably better to head into the woodland, into the loch's edge, and to see if there's other photographic opportunities here, because I feel like I've got this shot now. Although I said I wanted to wait until the sun was rising, the more I'm standing here, the more I'm debating how much I actually love this image. I just kept thinking there's something missing, there's something not working here. As I say, what it is there's just no balance in this shot. But a beautiful scene nevertheless. But I think I'm going to pack up and head into the woodland now and try and find something a little bit different that will give me that balance in an image, and then obviously I can walk back past this shot on the way back to the car at the end of the morning and see how the conditions are then. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm a little bit frustrated this morning, because although I've managed to come back here when those trees I wanted to photograph are in optimum colour, of course I'm happy about that. But actually the reason that I was inspired to come here today is that I saw a shot on Facebook last night that a local had taken of the loch, with these trees in the middle of it that are lit up lovely yellow just now. And there's also these reeds around the side of the loch that are also lit up yellow, and I thought it would make an incredible photograph. The issue is that there's only a very small amount of viewpoints and vantage points around this loch, and the compositions that you can get from them are really messy. And I did find one shot when I first arrived here this morning that I thought would have looked amazing, but unfortunately I would have had to have waded into the loch itself to get the shot, and I've not got wellies on. So I'm a little bit kind of upset about that in some ways, because I just think, you know, with the mist this morning and the conditions we had, even though there wasn't that much of the loch itself, I just think it would have been a lovely photograph to have had those yellow reeds framed with that lovely yellow island in the middle. But yeah, it wasn't to be, and I think You know, as I've mentioned in previous videos, one thing I try not to do these days is get my hopes up about a specific image, because 9 times out of 10 I don't get that specific image, I get other photographs in a location. So but this morning is reminding me of that. You know, don't always come to a location with a specific image in mind, especially if you haven't scouted it out. You know, if you just made up this image and what you think will be a good photograph based on what you've seen online. You know, either go to a location completely without expectations and then you cannot be disappointed, or scout out a location before you come with your camera to shoot it, and then you know exactly what you're looking for and what conditions that will work well with, which is what I did with the images you've already seen, but the image I envisaged online doesn't work. So yeah, that's a bit of a fault on my part there, but yeah, it's something to learn from and a reminder to me not to have too much expectations about one specific shot when you come to a location. I've just spent the last hour walking around the loch. I was really hoping to get some nice shots of the loch itself, but finding a vantage point was really difficult, and when we did find spots that were really nice, the light was just very flat, very boring, very disinteresting, and sadly there was pretty much no mist on the loch this morning, and it was one of the places that I was really hoping that mist would have been on. I just got back to where we began this morning, and I'm quite glad actually that I never stayed here and waited for the light to come out. As I was explaining, that images back then, they weren't balanced. There wasn't anything in the field to balance out against the beautiful you know, everything that was going on here, and as you can see now the mist is pretty much completely dispersed, and because we never got that lovely golden light that I was hoping for, I'm just quite glad that I went off and explored and looked for other photography opportunities. You know, it's always a bit of a dilemma, isn't it, when you're out doing photography, about whether to wait once you find a composition for that light to happen, or whether to go off exploring and look for other options. But this morning I think I definitely did the right thing. Although I never got any more shots that I was really happy with, I did get a few other ones, as I say, you would have seen them, and went for a little bit of an explore, which was quite exciting. So yeah, this morning's been a bit of a mixed bag. It's been exciting to get out and see this optimum autumnal colours. It's been nice to get a few photographs. It's been nice just to immerse myself in nature and see that lovely mist first thing this morning and the beautiful pinky purple colours in the sky. But photography wise it's not been the most successful, but it's been enjoyable nevertheless. So as always I want to say a huge thank you for watching, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you all again next time.